Hello guys, how are you? In the last period we have discussed about the combination of the derivatives of combinations of function, and today we will discuss about the higher derivatives. Okay, the higher derivatives. So በባለፈው ስለ ደሪቫቲቭ ኦፍ ኮምቢኔሽን ኦፍ ፋንክሽን እንዲሁም ቻይን ሩልን አይተናል። and ዛሬ ደግሞ higher derivatives ምንድን ነው and how to calculate the higher derivatives of every function የሚለውን ነገር እናያለን ማለት ነው። so let's go. The derivatives of f prime, if it exists, is called second derivative of f, which is denoted by f double prime. Okay, look. Then it is also defined as f prime, which is equals to the limit of f prime of x minus f prime of a over x minus a as x approaches to a, if the limit exists. ስለዚህ ይሄ ሊሚት ኤግዚስት የሚያደርግ ከሆነ ኤፍ ደብል ፕራይም ኢዝ ዘ ሰከንድ ደሪቫቲቭ ማለት ነው። ኤፍ ፕራይም ዘ ፈርስት ደሪቫቲቭ አት ኤክስ ማይነስ ዘ ሰከንድ ዘ ፈርስት ደሪቫቲቭ አት ኤ ኦቨር ኤክስ ማይነስ ኤ አዝ ኤክስ አፕሮችስ ቱ ኤ አድርገን ካልኩሌት እናደርጋለን ማለት ነው። ስለዚህ ሰከንድ ደሪቫቲቭ ነው ማለት ነው። ኢን ጀነራል ዘ nth derivative or the nth order derivative is given by f nth derivative ማለት ነው ይሄ the nth derivative of x which is equals to the limit of f of n minus 1 of x minus f of n minus 1 of a over x minus a as x approaches to a. ስለዚህ nth order derivative እንደዚህ ነው የሚሰጠው። ካልኩሌት የሚደረገው በዚህ y ነው ማለት ነው። ኦኬ so here is the nth order derivatives as n greater than or equal to 2 is called higher derivative. ስለዚህ higher derivative የምንለው በእንደዚህ አይነት ፎርም ተሰጥቷል። n ከሁለት እና ከዛ በላይ ከሆነ which is called higher derivatives እንለዋለን ማለት ነው። Let's do an example. Find the formula for the nth derivatives of the following functions. Okay? ለnth order derivative ፎርሙላ ፈልጉ ነው የሚለው ለሚከተሉት ፋንክሽኖች ማለት ነው። for a f of x which is equals to is a power of 2x. b f of x which is equals to 3 is a power of minus 2x. c f of x is equal to 1 over x. d f of x is equals to ln x. e f of x is equals to sine 3x. So, how to find the nth derivatives of these functions? Okay, so the solution part. Here for a, f of x which is equal to is the power of 2x, which implies that f prime at x, this is the first derivative of this function, is 2 times is the power of 2x. And second derivative of this function will be 2 square is a power of 2x. And also the third derivative of this function is 2q is a power of 2x. The fourth derivatives of x also to the power of 4 is a power of 2x. Okay, so what will be the nth derivative of this function? Look the order. To the power of 1 here, to the power of 2, to the power of 3, and to the power of 4. Okay, እዚህ ላይ n 1 ሲሆን ፓወሩ 1 ነው። n 2 ሲሆን እዚህም 2 ነው። n 3 ሲሆን እዚህም 3 ነው። and n 4 ሲሆን እዚህም 4 ነው። n ሲሆን ስለዚህ to the power of n is the power of x. So the nth order derivative of this function will be to the power of n is the power of 2x. እንደዚህ ይሆናል ማለት ነው። I think it is a very clear. For b f of x which is equals to negative 3 is the power of negative 2x, which implies that the first derivative of this function will be negative 2 ln 3 times the function itself, that is 3 is the power of negative 2x. Okay, and the second derivative of this function will be negative 2 square, this value, negative 2 square times ln 3 square times the function, that is 3 to the power of negative 2x. And the third derivative of this function, it will be negative 2 the power of 3 times ln 3 the power of 3 times 3 the power of negative 2x. So look, the power is increased as n increase. For example, for n, for first derivative, power of n, the n value is 1, and for second derivative, n values 2, here also 2, and for third derivative, the power becomes 3, and here also 3. So what will be for the nth derivative? ስለዚህ ለመጀመሪያው ደሪቫቲቭ ኤን 1 ከሆነ ለሰከንድ ደሪቫቲቭ ኤን 2 ከሆነ and third derivative 3 ከሆነ the general formula for the nth derivative of this function will be negative 2 the power of n ln 3 the power of n times 3 the power of 2x ይሆናል ማለት ነው። Okay, it is very simple. And see, f of x which is equal to 1 over x. 1 over x means x to the power of negative 1, which implies that f prime at x which is equal to negative 1 times x to the power of negative 2. This is the first derivative for this function. And second derivative of this function will be 2 times x to the power of negative 0. The third derivative will be negative 1 times 6 x the power of negative 4, and the fourth derivative at x of this function will be 24 x the power of minus 5. The fifth derivative will be negative 120 x in the power of negative 6. So here look, negative 1 2 6 24 120, 1 2 6 24 120, which is n factorial. n factorial formula. n factorial formula ከሆነ what will be the nth order derivative of this function? Negative 1 the power of n. Here when n is odd ኔጌቲቭ ይሆናል። ኢቭን ሲሆን ደግሞ ፖዚቲቭ ይሆናል። ኢቭን ሲሆን የፖዚቲቭ ኦድ ሲሆን አሁንም ኔጌቲቭ ይሆናል። ስለዚህ ምንድነው ኔጌቲቭ 1 the power of n times n factorial times x the power of negative n plus 1 for all n which is an element of natural number. n የናቹራል ነምበር ስብስብ መሆን መቻል አለበት ማለት ነው። ኦኬ what about d? What about d? f of x is equal to ln x, which implies that the first derivative of ln x is 1 over x. We know that it's obvious. 1 over x means it is x to the power of minus 1, and the second derivative of this function will be negative 1 x to the power of negative 2, and third derivative of this function will be 2 times x to the power of negative 3, and the fourth derivative of this function will be negative 1 times 6 the power of x minus 4, and the fifth derivative of this function will be 24 x to the power of minus 5, and the sixth derivative of this function is negative 120 times x to the power of minus 6. Look, here also negative 1, I mean 1, 2, 6, 24, 120, this is also n factorial. ይህም እንደ c n factorial formula ነው ያለው. It has an n factorial formulas. So the nth order derivative of this function will be negative 1 the power of n plus 1, okay, times n minus 1 factorial, n minus 1 factorial times x the power of negative n ይሆናል ማለት ነው። This is the nth order derivative for d, or for the function of ln x. Okay, So the nth derivative of ln x will be this, and the next one is that is f of x is equals to sine 3x. Okay, so what is the next derivative of x? What will be the value? Okay, try this one by yourself. ይህን እስቲ በራሳችሁ ሞክሩት። የራሳችሁን ፎርሙላ ተዋጣላችሁ። እንዴት ነው? ሂንት ለመስጠት ያክል ሳይን 3x ደሪቬት ሲደረግ the first derivative of sin 3x በምንድነው? በቼን ሩል መስራት እንችላለን። 3 cos 3x ይሆናል የመጀመሪያው 3 cos 3x። ከዛ ደግሞስ ኔጌቲቭ 3 times 3 sin 3x እያለ ይሄዳል። So what will be the nth order derivative of sin 3x? Please try this one by yourself. For now, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more video. Goodbye.